My name is Megan Maynard, and I'm an account manager here at Marquee 360. So reach out to me for further information or questions, and you will also be hearing from Stella, our solutions architect extraordinaire, who will be doing the demo today. The agenda will be a little background on Marquee 360 and our focus areas. Then Stella will demo, and then we'll have some time for some Q&A. So a little bit about us. Marquee 360 was founded by former Microsoft employees who are considered industry leaders. And our team has some 20 plus years in the industry. So we have a very, very seasoned team with lots of industry knowledge. Our vision is to create a smooth and easy to use solution to drive growth and enhance your internal processes and operations. So to do that, we bring best practices to build on your efficiencies and overcome challenges, bringing an increased productivity to your team while filling in any gaps on the Microsoft Power Platform. We were also Microsoft's finalist for Partner of the Year for Project and Portfolio Management in 2022 and 2023. So we are super proud of our relationship with Microsoft and the trust they give to us. Also, one thing to note is that our solution is out of the box and basically performs on top of Microsoft's Power Platform. So it's a low code, no code solution. There's no hidden added fees or subscription costs. Our core focus areas for success are innovation. We take the Microsoft suite and accelerate it. Again, filling in any gaps that may not be included on the Power Platform, and overcoming any pain points you might have in your process. We basically just take it to the next level to fine tune it and to meet each customer's individual needs. And we work side by side with Microsoft's technology team during their development. So our solutions are also kept up to date. Number two is our customer successes and the long-lasting relationships we build along the way. They are key to not only myself, but to our team. We act as your trusted advisor and make sure to support you from start to finish. We also understand each customer has their own unique requirements. So we take our learned best practices and design them around your solution and whatever your own individual PMO needs might be. And then lastly, we understand how important support is when launching a new program. So we assign a dedicated team to cover all areas of implementation, hypercare, after launch support. So this way you're never left stranded with questions or concerns. And before I hand this off to Stella, we do love an interactive audience. So please ask questions along the way or put your questions in the chat. Again, I'll be sending out the recording to everyone after the presentation today. And please reach out if you want to do a customized presentation or problem solve any pain points with your internal team at a later date. So just reach out. And with that, I'll hand it off to Stella. Stella, is your mic on?
Yes, yeah. Do you want to go to the next slide for me? Okay. So hello and welcome to our Microsoft's Planner webinar, where we're going to provide you with some insight on Microsoft's Planner integration with To-Do, Planner, and Project for the Web, including current releases and what is to come on the roadmap. So modern work management spans two subcategories of collaborative work management and enterprise work management. And it includes the full spectrum of tools empowering information workers and formal and professional project managers. Planner, which was formerly called Project for the Web, provides a sophisticated project management platform built on Microsoft Power Platform, allowing integration with various other Microsoft applications, including Copilot, Power BI, and Power Automate. The future of project management brought by Project for the Web and Planner together provides task management capabilities, which can be extended with expanding capabilities of what PMs need for project management. The new Planner is intuitive, it's simple, and provides a single unified solution by combining tasks, plans, and projects. If we go to the next slide, we can see that Microsoft has invested a lot of research and development work into making the work management experience easier. By taking Planner and Project for the Web and combining the two, we now have an integrated experience. So the new Planner includes enhanced features, including baseline, conditional coloring, advanced dependencies, task details, custom task columns, task assignments, new resource views, and more, which we're going to take a look at today. So what is PPM 360? It is one connected platform. As I mentioned, you can extend Planner by integrating the Power Platform, which we have done in a pre-configured solution developed by our team at Marquee 360. This includes all aspects of the project lifecycle from intake through reporting. And having this prepackaged solution makes implementation easier and faster to deploy and tailored to your company's specific requirements as well. So today we are going to take a look inside the new Microsoft Planner integration features. First, we're going to start with basic task management pieces. So we'll start by building a project schedule. Then we will extend into the team member experience in Teams Planner. And then finally, we will take a look at enterprise project management capabilities with Power Platform and Marquee 360's accelerator for Planner. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So here in Planner, I can start creating my basic schedule. As a PM or light PM, this is how you'd use Planner to create your project schedule. First, we're going to build a schedule by creating a new project. And we'll highlight the enhanced features for task assignments. First, I'm going to name my project here. And then I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to navigate over to my tasks here. Now we're going to build a project schedule from scratch here. And then we are going to look at how these tasks appear in Planner. So here from this tab, I can build my schedule. And if I want to open this in a different window, I can simply select Open in Project here. And now I can see that I have just the schedule view and not seeing all the other tabs. So back here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by rearranging the columns that I want. So I'm going to add some columns here by adding start date, finish date, percent complete, effort, effort completed, and effort remaining. Then I'm going to go ahead and maybe make these a little bit smaller so I can see everything. I'll keep my assigned to and my quick look. My duration here, I can leave here. And then we can adjust these columns as needed. First thing I want to do is I want to add my tasks. So here, I'm going to go ahead and add my summary task. Now I want to select this, make it my subtask. So we're going to select make subtask here. And I want these to be subtasks of this, the summary task in itself. Now, once again, I want to make this a summary task. So I can highlight all of these by dragging and dropping and then making them a subtask. Now we'll see that as I start to add the effort completed hours, it's going to roll up to give me a summarization of what these are. So we'll go ahead and do one more summary task. And we'll make these subtasks as well, once again, by highlighting them and making them a subtask here. Now that we have the skeleton of our project built out here, we can start adding some start, finish dates, and some hours as well. So we'll utilize the start date here by going ahead and starting this off. We'll go ahead and say that the first date is today. We'll also want to add the depends on column in order to have dependencies as well. I'm going to go ahead and drop this over here. the purposes of this part of the schedule. Now, if I want my task 4 to depend on 3, I can do so by adding here. It's giving me a suggested task, which is 3. As we know, normal is finish to start, which means that this task would depend a little before it. So when I click this, it automatically gives me the date where this would come after this task. And when I add some effort hours here, I can see that I can add it for 8 hours, for example, and make this one 10. I can also see if I wanted to increase my duration, I could do so. Make it a couple of days longer. And I can also go ahead and assign this task to someone. I'm gonna go ahead and assign this task to myself. And then I'm gonna assign the second task to one of my team members. So I'm gonna type in her name here, and we'll see that since this is synced with AD, it's gonna pull her name in here. Now, when I select her name here, it's gonna ask me if I wanna share my entire plan with her, or if I wanna just assign her. Now, by adding her to a group, I'm providing her access to the schedule and the rest of my plan. If I just assign her this, then she won't have access to any of the documentation related to my plan. I'm going to go ahead and just assign her for now. We'll go ahead and continue to add some more information here. So we'll add some more dependencies. As we talked about, there are advanced dependencies now. So initially, Microsoft only had dependencies, but now we can have advanced dependencies. So if we look here, we can see from our suggested tasks, it's relying on 4. And if I hover over here, I can see the advanced dependencies options, which are finish to start, finish to finish, start to start, and start to finish. If I select one of these advanced dependencies, we can see that the image here will change to show me what it would be doing. So this one would start, and this one can finish. And we can even add a lag by time as well. So for example, if I want to say finish to start, but I want it to lag by, let's say 2 days, I could add that. This is also one of the newest features that have been added by Microsoft since this was first deployed. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more hours. Now we can see that when I added 2 days, it did not give me an effort. The second I gave a task assignment, a resource assigned to this task, it went ahead and populated 16 hours, which is 2 days of work, 8 hours per day. So it is an intuitive system that tries to learn and predict what that would be. Now I can override this and say, I actually don't want it to be 16 hours. I want it to be maybe only 10, and that's fine. But it does try and predict what it would be to help you with your schedule. I'm going to go ahead and continue some task assignments here. And adding some more dependencies as well. Now we can see as I'm adding the dependencies, it's populating my dates for me. Now we'll go ahead and add one more final task, which is project complete. This will act as my milestone, which we all know is 0-day duration, 0-hour task, which doesn't get assigned to anyone, but acts as a milestone in the schedule. Now let's say that I wanted to identify any tasks that were only 1 day or assigned to me. Now we can use conditional coloring for this, which is another new feature. This conditional coloring feature here, I can select, and it's going to allow me to give multiple parameters. So I can pick the parameter that I want for the task. So anything from name, assigned to, duration, start, finish, depends on, effort, completed, remaining, dependent after, bucket, or priority. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and say, show me all the tasks that are assigned to Mia. And I want to see those in red. I also want to see all of the tasks that have a duration that is equal to 1 day. Let's say I also want to see the tasks with an effort of 8 hours. And I also want to see all the tasks that, let's say, have that are assigned to myself. Or I could even say, let's say I'm going to have this one in green right here. I can select save. we can see that's automatically going to apply this. And when I continue to add tasks for Mia, it's going to apply that conditional calling there as well. Now, for those of you who like these types of features in Excel, you're really going to like this feature as well, because it kind of gives you an idea of where things are in your schedule at a glance, rather than having to look for it in more detail. So now that I have my schedule built here and all the efforts for everything here, we can see that I can add all my task assignments as well. We can now look at the quick look. So for tasks here, we can hover over a task here and open the details for it. Now this pop-up screen that appears on the right here is going to show me the details of my task. So essentially any column that I would add here, in addition to what we call a checklist. So I can add checklist items here for this and say, this is my kickoff meeting. I can say schedule meeting. I can say create kickoff deck. And I can say confirm list of attendees. Now what's great is in my quick look column here, it's going to show me that I have this checklist, and it's going to show me that I have 0 out of 3. So if I were to shut this window here, I can simply select this and it will open this for me and show me my task details. I can also add a note here too. I can add a label directly from here as well and rename my label. I can change the % complete as well. I can change the bucket that it's in, which we can also do in the board view. I can set a priority for it. And I can also add additional dependencies here, as well as an attachment. So as I check things off on my checklist, we can see that this is updated here. And we also have an icon for our notes. Now, if I added an attachment, there'll also be a clip here to identify that there was an attachment there. So this is a pretty widely used feature for these task details. To move tasks around, I would simply drag and drop here. Now, as we can see, my dependency does change a little bit as I do that, making this go from 4, and now it's dependent on 3. Now, so far, we've looked at now that I've created my schedule, I'm going to want to use my baseline. Baselines is probably the newest feature that's been added to this tool by Microsoft. It's actually come out in about, I would say, in the past week or so. And actually, it's not available in all tenants this far. So if you're an existing customer and you're not seeing baselines yet, just give it a few days. It's probably rolling out slowly. Now, if I want to set my baseline, what I would do is I select baseline. And I can say create baseline. Now it's logging my baseline with my baseline start, finish date, duration is 19 days, and my effort hours is 92. So the second I get off track, let's say my finish date changes for whatever reason. Let's say I add a new task. After my baseline's been set, and now I want to set this to July. When I open my baseline back up, it's going to tell me that my project schedule is behind by 31 days. I can name this baseline as well. And currently Microsoft allows you to have one baseline, but I believe that future baselines are coming to where you can set more than just one baseline throughout your schedule. There's also an area here for notes. If I wanted to make a reference to my baseline, I could. And if I wanted to, I could also delete my baseline by selecting delete baseline from here. Now, if there is something that you want to track for your task that isn't captured by one of the existing columns by Microsoft, which are these here, then we can create what's called a custom task column. I can do that by selecting new field here from the top. And I can even select what type of field I want it to be. So it could be a text field, for example, like notes. It could be a date field, like, start or finish, or a critical date for that task. It could be a number, it could be even a yes or no, and it could even be a choice. So let's go ahead and add a choice field. So we're just going to say critical task, which could be captured alone by the priority column, but in this case, we'll just go ahead and use it as our example. Here I can say yes. Let me edit that actually. So I selected enter and it saved it, but let's say I want to edit it. I can select here and go edit. No, and not applicable. Now I can actually apply conditional coloring directly here by hovering over this, selecting on this color picker here and saying, yes, is going to be orange. No, it's going to be red. Let's actually make yes yellow, a little lighter color. And then not applicable, we'll go ahead and make that gray. Now I have my column here, which I can drag and drop or just view this way. Make my schedule a little smaller so we can see it all on one screen. Now I can come here and say critical task, and from the drop down, I can select yes, I can select no, or I can select not applicable. Now, if I assign myself some tasks, and I've assigned me tasks as well. So we're going to see in Planner how these look. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at how these look in the board view. So here in our board view, we can see that one bucket's been created and it's automatically putting all of them in here. But let's go ahead and add a new bucket and rename this one. Actually, we'll name this default bucket. Now, what's great about Microsoft is that a lot of the features that they have in the task are reportable, meaning, as I said earlier, their applications integrate with other Microsoft applications, for example, Power BI. So if I wanted to, let's say, have a table on a report that shows me all the tasks in a specific bucket, I could. I can also report on any of the Microsoft columns here that they have. So if I wanted to, for example, show me a task, I can have all the task information on a report, either in a table format or in a visual. Here for my board view, I can go ahead and drag and drop tasks. I can mark them completed. I can say I complete here. And let's say I want to drag this into critical tasks and mark it complete. I can simply drag it below here. And now it's marking as complete for me. And it's also in this bucket. To move a task into a bucket and not mark it complete, I would simply drag it above the completed area. Another great view that we have is the timeline view. Now, as I said, we have advanced dependencies, and we can actually simply drag and drop if I wanted to change the dependencies to rely on something different. So we can move this right here, make it rely on different tasks, actually increase the duration of the task as well. As we can see that this task was complete, but I increased the duration. So we can see that the dark blue line here of the task has been completed and this part has not. Once again, I can increase the tasks. And a new feature now too is that if I wanted to control Z, I could to undo something here, which previously was not a feature. We also have our charts view here, which is just a viewable view of my tasks. I can see by effort per person, how much is completed versus in progress, and the total tasks I have left. From my people view, I can simply assign tasks by dragging and dropping here. So I can see all of the tasks that me is assigned and all the tasks that I'm assigned. If I had a new task, I can simply drag and drop it into my bucket or to Mia's. And from our board view, I can also assign tasks simply here by selecting here and assign tasks, which we'll see the planner has as well. Microsoft also has created a new goals area. So if you wanted to add a goal, for example, I could add this goal. And then back here in my grid view, this is one of Microsoft's columns. So I could add the goal column here. And then I could assign the goal and task really here. Now, when I go back to my goals view, I'll see that that task will appear under here. Here I can see how many tasks I have and the end date as well. Now, my favorite view is the assignments view, one of Microsoft's newest views as well. Now, what I love about this view, and for those of you who are familiar with Project Online, you'll notice that it's very familiar to the resource usage view that is available in Project Online. This is a really great view to provide you a granular view of tasks that are assigned, and it's especially good for tasks where you have to assign multiple resources. So let's go ahead and go back to our grid view, and I'm going to assign myself and Mia to this task. Now we can see when I assign Mia, the effort hours jumped from 8 to 16 hours. So now if we look at this view in the assignments view, right now I'm grouped by resource. if I want to group by task, I can. And now I can see on this one task the 8 hours. But let's say that we're going to go ahead and jump to the date this starts on 5/22. And we can see the 8 hours here. Now, let's say I have 2 people assigned to it, but I wanted Mia to do the bulk of the work, and I'm actually going to do less. What I can do is I can simply add that here, change her hours directly in this view, and it's going to increase the total hours for the task itself. I can decrease my hours here, and I can even extend the task date too by adding more tasks here. Now, if there's a dependency or something that it relies on, it won't let you, you'll get an error message. But as long as there's not a dependency that's locking in the task, you can add as much as you want and increase the duration. So we can group by task. We can also group by resource. So I can go down here and let's say for this task, it's 16 hours. It's automatically separated 12 hours here, 2 and 2 here. But if I wanted to get it more even, I could by just doing 8, 4, and 4. Now it's a 16-hour task. So we can view this daily by day here, or I can view it on a week level, and now monthly and yearly. This is also a new feature that was added in the past couple of weeks, the monthly and yearly ability here. Before it was just daily and weekly. Let's look at the weekly view. So you can see here that for this week of the 26th, there's 24 hours for this task. And then the following week, there's 8. So once again, I can split this up too by doing 16 here and 16 here. Or spreading this out to 8, 8, 8, and 8. So once again, this is my favorite view here. So far we have built a project schedule from scratch, our basic project schedule here. We have assigned all of our tasks to resources. We have added effort, hours, completed, remaining. We've gone in and done some percent complete. We've added a custom task column. We've looked at all of our different views, including the assignments view, my personal favorite. And we've looked at different ways that we can look at task details, such by adding checklist as well.
Hey, Stella, we have a couple of questions.
Yes, absolutely.
James asked, is this an update to the original project planner?
Yes, this is.
Okay. And Craig asks, can resources be added that aren't in AD? For instance, we have vendors who work on our projects but don't necessarily have an AD account, but we still need to track them on tasks.
Yes, I get that. It's a very common question that I get. So what you would do is you create a guest profile. So in the resources area, you'd create a guest profile and give them access the same way you do for your company, or like adding a guest on Teams essentially. And then you can assign them to this task. You would still have to add them to the group or the plan if you wanted them to be able to see their task specifically. But yes, that is possible. You just have to add them as a guest in the environment.
All right. Our friend Jeff asks, do we know when this will be available in the GCC?
Yes, unfortunately, everything trails a little bit behind for the GCC. Baselines, I believe, should be coming out still in the next few weeks for GCC, if it's not already there right now. And the planner integration with it should be coming out in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Can this be used in conjunction with the existing project center, or do we need to upgrade to PPM 360 to take advantage of this?
So the way I said you can open this in project, you can still create your project here to take advantage of your schedule building. In order to take advantage of the other areas of the project, such as logging issues, risks, summary, description, anything outside of just building the schedule, you would need the accelerator for.
Great. Okay, we'll let you keep going, and we will have Q&A at the end. So thanks, guys.
We will.
Keep asking questions. So.
Okay, so now that I have my project schedule built, now let's take a look at our project plan and tasks and planner within Teams. This is where we can view my plans and manage the schedule that we just built. So let's go ahead and take a look. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate over to planner. So the way this would work, I'm actually going to go to my main planner here. So from planner here, you would add this icon planner here. And then what I just did to get to this window is I right-clicked on it and said open a new window. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at what this planner looks like in Teams. It is now 100. This is now at 100% general availability in Teams as of a few weeks ago. The next step on the roadmap will be to have this in the browser planner app, and then also will be to make it available for named environments. Currently, this is available for the default environments. So as we can see here, all the tasks I added in my plan, manufacturing and supply, have been populated here. Now these are only what this is called my tasks. So I assigned them to Mia, and Mia will see those in her tasks that she's assigned. Now let's go ahead and take a look at my plans before we look at the tasks. So I can see here my newest project, and the privacy is only me. I can share this project by coming here and select share. I'm going to go ahead and share it with Mia, even though I only assigned her a tasks. I can still add her to the group here, and I'm going to create a group. So I've created a group and I've added Mia. So she should receive a notification that she now has access to this project plan. And I can add additional members here as well. Now, from the board view, I can simply come in here, assign a task to someone, such as Mia. I can also add a label directly here, delete the task, or copy a link to task. Now I can send this task to a specific person for them to access the task and plan. As we saw in the project view, I also have the grid view here, where I can manage my schedule. I have the board view with the boards that I create, with the buckets that I created, the timeline view, charts, people, goals, and assignments. Now I can come here too, and we can also utilize one of Microsoft's newest, brightest features that they have definitely put a lot of research and development work into, and that is the Copilot feature. So if I wanted to ask Copilot, how many tasks are assigned? Yeah. It's thinking about it, it's generating an answer, telling me that it's looking for how many tasks are assigned to Mia. And it tells me Mia Reed has been assigned to 4 tasks in the current project, and these tasks are gather requirements, approval documentation, and as we can see here, they're correct. Gather requirements, approve documentation for build, design task 3, and design task 4. And then just give me a couple examples of they are. So as we can see, we can utilize the Copilot feature. We also have the baselines and filters. So if I wanted to filter all the ones that were example assigned to me, I could. I can see all the ones that are assigned to Mia. Here it brings in my custom column that I built, task column that I built as well. So I can say, show me all the ones that are yes. And this is for any of the custom task columns that you create. So as I said before, we can share the plan or we can keep it private, either way. I can assign tasks from any view, such as the board view here. Now let's take a look at my tasks. So in the My Tasks view, this is part of the team member experience. So as we can see here, when you're assigning tasks in your project, this is what they're going to be able to see in Planner, currently available in Teams, soon coming to the actual browser. So they can, from here, they can manage their tasks. As you can see, they don't have the % complete column task yet, but it is on the roadmap. As you can see here, they have 3 options. So from my task, I can either keep it not started, I can put in progress, and I can put completed. Now, when I put in progress, we can see here for this new task that I created, if we go back to my plans, it's going to mark it as 50% complete. The new task here at the bottom, I put in progress and it marked it as 50% complete. Now, my team member still has access to my schedule. So if they wanted to do a more granular view of in progress, they would simply just need to navigate to the project with where we created it. They could have access to it. They would navigate to the project, find the task that they're assigned to, and they could go into the task column task here and mark it something like 25% complete, which is important for tasks that have big hours related to it. So lastly, we're going to take a look at PPM 360, which is Marquee 360's accelerator for Planner. And it's formally called Project for the Web. So we'll highlight different areas for sophisticated project management, such as tracking risks and issues. So going back to our project here, we can see some summary information for the project. So if I wanted to put a description of the project, I could here. I could. Using these user lookup fields, once again, sync with AD, I can assign executive sponsor. Let's say I want to put Mia. Megan. Select our business unit. Here I can set my status health indicators, which appear on my main project view, which we'll see here in a second. So I'll say this overall status we'll put is on track. Let's say my budget health is on track. We'll say the schedule is maybe a little bit at risk, scope on track, and we'll say resources are on track as well. Now, if I save and close this, it'll take me back to my main projects view, which is customizable. And we can see here where it shows me my status indicators. Now, what's great about this view is that it is customizable for the user. So I can go to edit column here. Let's say I wanted to see additional information. I can essentially add any field that exists within the project. So let's say I wanted to add owner, I could do so, and maybe some other columns like portfolio or description. I can drag these in the order that I want to see them in. And then I can press apply here. When I do, I can see that it saves my new view here with the asterisks. And from this view here, I can actually select save as new view. Luckily, Microsoft has increased the number of user-specific views that you can have, so there's no longer limitation. So I'm going to name this as Stella's view and save it. And now we can see this is in the drop-down, and this indicates that it's my view by this little person icon here. As I create more views, I can even set this as my default view. So even though at the global level, when I come to projects, the default view is my active projects. Let's say I like my view so much, I can go to it and I can set this as my default view. Now when I navigate away and come back, we'll see that that's going to be the default view for me specifically. I can manage and share this view. So if I don't like this view anymore, I can come in here, select this view and delete it. Now it's currently my default view, so it's not going to let me do that. But I can say set as default view again for my active projects. And now I can delete this view. So going back into my project that I created earlier, the manufacturing and supply chain, we'll go ahead and log in issue for this. So as we can see here, we can use Microsoft's or Marquee 360's accelerator to do things beyond project management rather than just the schedule.
Couple questions.
Yes.
Don asks, I see the tasks also live on the My Tasks page. Can the same task live on other projects as well?
Can you elaborate on that? So do you mean like within this view?
Can a single task live on more than one project? I guess.
Right.
So
Right. What I mean is if I wanted to, maybe I needed to create a project to prioritize, or I needed to escalate an issue about a task. Do I have to recreate something else to do that? Do I have to, I'm trying to exclude duplicate task creation. So if I can use the same task and move it a whole bunch of places and have the same updates appear everywhere, is that possible, or does it just only live on this one project?
So it does only live on the one project. On the roadmap is linking tasks between projects. I don't know how far away that is. I think it maybe is on the roadmap for the end of this year. Essentially, there are a couple things that are coming on the roadmap before that, but I do know that the ability to like link tasks, so essentially be able to link one task to another task in a different project plan. I don't know about being able to use the same task across different projects. that task kind of lives there within that project plan. But if you wanted to link it, I know that on the roadmap is coming, like if this task depended on a task in another project finishing, then I know that's on the roadmap for them.
Okay, thanks. It was similar to what you were showing with the different views within a project. I was just wondering if it was extended beyond the projects. You've answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, good. Any other questions? We love questions, so. Megan, any other questions?
Yep, Juana has a question. Given that this is built on Power Automate, can fields be added to the basic project information or to the different lists without enlisting Marquee to do this for us? Or does it violate the support agreement? So we think
so I think this might be for an existing customer. So you ultimately, like, it's, it's your environment, you can do whatever you want in it. We do pretty thorough admin testing to cover, how to update fields and everything in the project. So the tools are in your hands. Even if we are still providing support, we can, you can make those updates with our assistance or without.
Yeah, I can contact you again offline. We can get those questions answered too in more detail. Julie asks, does Planner support integrated master schedules setup?
Do you mean by schedule templates? Because yes, if you're talking about schedule templates, then what we can do is when a new project is created in here, it can utilize schedule templates. So what it would do is it would give them a starting point. So for example, if we look in here, basically when the new project was created, when you'd go to the tasks, it would not be blank. It would have a starting point. So if you have a same schedule that you're essentially the same schedule, or at least a starting point that you're using continuously across your projects or across specific project types. So for example, for specific customers, we have when the new project's created, if project type equals A, use schedule template A. If project type equals B, use schedule template B. So it's slightly different, but then it gives them a starting point here and a schedule to manage rather than them having to build their own from scratch each time. I hope that answered your question, did it?
I'm actually looking, like, if you embed sub projects where you could have people working independently on the sub projects, but it all rolls up into a master schedule.
Yes. So do you mean like this? Like this is rolling up into one master schedule here? This is my plan?
Yeah, but then underneath that, you would have a separate project that could be managed independently of that roll-up task. But it's embedded. So if you were to expand all of them, it would expand all the projects that have been embedded as sub-projects.
I see. Yeah, so I'm assuming the way you're talking about that is this. So we could create another one here. So it's like project subsection. And then you could mark your tasks under here. So subsection tasks. And then make this a subtask of this one. So now I have my two that roll up. And then actually, as I add things here, this is a roll up of all the ones under this. And then this would be a roll up of this one.
I'm actually not as much of a task as it is a separate project that you can link to a master.
I see. So what we do have is something called parent tasks, which isn't in this one exactly. I think we have it in this view here. I'm sorry, parent project here. So what I can do is I can link a whole different project to this one and say, yeah, this is related. Also, it sounds like we'd really benefit from portfolios and programs, which is another area that has like an enhanced project management here. So what's great is that here's my project. And within this project, I have two lookup fields. I have the program and portfolio lookup fields. So what that means is that when as you can see here, it's in the aerospace program. So if I go to my programs here and I click on my aerospace program, I can go to the projects and I can see all the projects that live within this program. And within this program, the program itself has a status indicator. It can even have financials that you manage for the program, which is a roll up of all the budgets and the remaining projects across all the projects within that. And then we also can have some general information. And this is very, very customizable. So even if there's not a tab here to account for something your program is currently tracking, it's very customizable. So we can create that for you as well. Let's say you don't need description, but you need something else to track your program, we could as well. And the views too are also different. So here, as we can see, it's telling me I have 2 active projects in here, projects on track, meaning with green statuses are 2. And then we can see some here have more or less. So this is also editable, this view, initial view, so we can add some financial information or whatever overview information you'd have. And then the second option is also portfolios. So it's a different way to track projects. But for example, my real estate investment portfolio here, once again, I can track it at the portfolio level, financials as well. And then I can see a list of all my projects that live within this portfolio.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. And on that topic, that's actually a great segue into reports. So
one more question on while we're on this view. Is there a way to use project as a connector in Power Apps, mainly having the ability to select a project in a dropdown that can be used to clock in to a certain project?
Yes. Do you mean like time management? So Marquee 360 actually has our own timesheets app that we've created. And what's great is I can actually come to the timesheets app here. And if I submit a time, if I want to submit some of my time here, I can go new. This is outside the accelerator, of course, but I can create a new time period. And what's great is that when I go to submit my time, it's linked to the projects. So I'd say new timesheet line here, and it's going to ask me the project name. I can find my project, and then I can look for the tasks. So I can select enter here, and it'll show me all the tasks I'm assigned. I can select it here, save and close, and it's going to bring in this as well as some admin tasks. It's bring on the task that I just added, and it's going to show me effort remaining for the task, which right now looks like 0. And then I can actually add time. So I can say I did 8 hours on this date for this task. I did 4 hours here. I did 5 hours here. And then you have the option of having that actually read back to the schedule and update the task or not. And it also, you have the option of making this go through an approval process to where, either the project owner or resource manager would have to review and approve these hours before it actually reads back to the schedule.
Thanks, Stella.
Yeah, of course.
Let's move on to the exciting reports.
Okay, yes. So we were looking at portfolios, and that was actually a great segue here, because as we can see here, I have all these projects in my portfolio. So if I wanted to see how's this portfolio doing, we have report pack here, which is really great. It comes with 15 reports. This right here, which I'm currently on, is an example of a status report. So for the project we just looked at, the aerospace one, we talked about how we can log risks and issues briefly. So we can see here it's bringing in all the risks I've logged, all the issues. If I wanted to see the specific new risk here or new issue, I could click on the link, and it's going to open up that issue for me directly that I have, so I can see some more information on it. And I can also further manage it. I can see here my most recent status report, it's bringing in the text fields, and it's also bringing in fields from other areas. So this is the schedule. So it reflects how many tasks I have marked as complete in my schedule, my status indicators for my overall project, some key contacts here it's bringing in, and it's bringing in all of this information from the fields. So simply from this data across the entire project. So as we can see here, program portfolio, status reports, which we'd log here. I could create a new status report, and it's bringing in the status indicators with the most recent reporting date. So from the portfolio level, if I want to see the status of multiple projects and how they're doing, I could utilize my portfolio help one. So we're talking about the real estate investment portfolio. So we can see here that I can see all of them in a different view. I can see which ones are active. I can see the individual ones. And what's great is I can say, let's say this is at risk and I want more information. I can actually utilize drill through. So I can click on the project name, drill through, and go to the status report to see more information for that project. And this view also is extremely customizable. We also have our portfolio dashboard view with some visuals here and some more information, which can bring in essentially any field that's the project field. I have some nice visuals here that I can interact with. So if I want to say, show me all the projects in the initiation phase, I can. I can also have my portfolio milestones that pulls in tasks with 0-day, 0-hour durations, also customizable. And then I have an area to see my risks and issues. And this is my risks across all projects in here, but I can also filter it by saying, show me all the risks within a specific program. So if I want to say, show me all the ones within my real estate program, I can. And that's saying for this program, I have 7 open risks with the cost exposure of 10.6, and I can see active risks by project. So it looks like this one here, my East Coast Premium one, which I click on this and it filters the table for, has 3 open risks. So this is the project that I might want to take a closer look at as a PMO. And I want to make sure we save time for questions at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here and see if we have any questions or any other areas we want to dive into. One area I did not cover is that Marquee does account for every part of the project lifecycle. Intake is a huge area that is growing a bigger need in projects. So intake is the first part of the project lifecycle. It's an area for ideas to be submitted or project ideas, project initiations to be reviewed. And Marquee 360 does offer an entire app for that. So we do have our project intake here, which is a different app. And if you want to reach out to Megan or Aaron, we can absolutely offer you a demo of that, an area where you can submit requests and have all the information actually transfer over to your new project created as a starting point. Does anyone have any questions we want to cover or anything else we want to take a closer look at?
We've got a couple of questions from Lori. Can the data from the project, including the status information, be accessible to SharePoint?
Yes.
She has a SharePoint site where she communicates project information within the community.
Oh, yes. We love SharePoint. I've done a lot of integration with SharePoint. So for an example, I recently deployed a project where they had a SharePoint list or SharePoint term store. And one of the fields was a lookup field that we created, and it actually was pulling values from a SharePoint list. So you'd update the values there and it would automatically update it in the drop-down field value. Our intake application, all those lists are saved in SharePoint, so you could update project data from there as well. And we do a lot of different integration with SharePoint, everything from, let's say, if you use document sets, from intake, whenever a new project's created, we could automatically create a document set with the project name and project ID, or however you want that formatting to look like. I have a basic planner question. We're struggling getting notifications from when a task is updated and the owner getting a notification. Okay. When a task is updated and the owner getting a notification. So do you mean like when the task is complete? First thing I'd want to look at is if you had those notifications turned on in the background for that. And I'm not sure if you're talking about Planner or Planner within Teams specifically.
Yeah, Planner within Teams. So if I assign a task to someone, they get the notification that the task has been assigned to them. But there's times when they mark the progress of it, whether it's complete or in progress, or they just add a note. Let's say they're partially done and they just want to update me on what they have thus far. I'm not getting any notifications to let me know that anything's been updated to the task.
Okay, interesting. Because you should be getting those and you should be getting them through the Teams activity, actually. That's where mine come in. So when someone updates a task, that's where I get that right now. I'm looking for example, actually. So for example, this one right here, sharing my screen. So this was a notification I got, this one right here. So Stella removed you from a task. So I was the one got removed from a task, stuff like that. I get notifications for. I actually don't think I do get comments though. So if someone makes a comment on a task that I'm assigned to, or I'm assigned a task initially, I do get those here. When I click on it, it shows me in Planner. But I don't think the settings right now are set to show you whenever a progress is updated on it, unless it's completed. Are you getting notifications when the progress is marked as completed?
No, I am not. But mine is just a basic channel set up with a Planner channel in Teams.
Okay. Yeah, we would need to take a closer look at that and identify why. You might have some settings or like some enterprise or global settings sometimes that turn off those task notifications or task updates.
Okay.
So we need to take a look at that. But if you look at the settings within Planner, and it also might be an individual thing too. So the people who aren't receiving those updates may have their settings set to where they don't get frequent notifications only when the initial task is assigned.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hope that was helpful. So I know we've covered a lot of information. The Planner integration coming is really exciting. It's a great way to provide team members that team member experience without the people who have to actually manage the project. They have a central location. So right now, the things on the roadmap for Planner are really exciting, and project management capabilities are just going to be increased and enhanced. And it's really exciting to continuously see the new features they're adding in the schedule, such as baselines as of last week. Is Project Planner that appears in Teams different from this? I'm using Planner in Teams and don't see all of these things. So the way I got this on here, so you're going to want to go to your Teams, and if you add here from the bottom, you're going to want to search for apps and type in Planner. And you can click on this logo here and it will add it. So this is where you should be seeing this. So all I've done here is I have opened this in a new window. So I've selected right click here, open a new window. But if I select on Planner here, you can see that as well. So you're saying that you're not seeing this. So this is at 100% general availability. So at this point, this should be available for everyone.
Looks like we're running out of time. So I'll be sending this out to everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We love your questions. These were really great questions today, and keep coming to these. We do them a couple of times a month, and we're always here, like we mentioned in the beginning, to do a customized demo for you and your team. So just reach out, and we'd love it if you fill out our survey so we can continue to improve on these. Great job, Stella, and thanks everyone for joining.